Welcome. Our last video we made some smash burgers. In fact, I just heated the last one up, gave it to my son. That was just the other day. So like I said, this weekend we'll make a hamburger and potato skillet. I'm also going to do a stuffed salmon. Today I'm going to do the hamburger skillet. Tomorrow I'll make the salmon. And that way we'll have it for a couple of days. Both meals will last. This recipe calls for almost 2 pounds of hamburger meat. Got like 1.8 pounds, got 2 little packs. Got my potatoes, of course, going to go in it. We'll throw some carrots in there as well. Of course, I always use things like an onion on everything. Our garlic and everything we cook as well. Got all my seasonings out. So I got everything ready. It's pretty quick and simple meals, not a lot to it. Not a lot of seasoning, some paprika, some garlic. I got a little bit of cayenne for heat. I may add something at the end. Probably add cheese or something to kind of thicken it up, make it, a little bit more flavor on it and all that good stuff. But this way we'll get some potatoes, some carrots in there, and then some hamburger meat. It recommends like an 80-20 on the hamburger meat. The fat and everything will give it the flavor, give it something to thicken everything up with the potatoes. So I'm gonna dice up my onion, my carrots, and my potato first. The potato gets cooking first, 5-6 minutes till it softens up, and we'll dice them small. Then after that, we'll put in the hamburger meat, the onion, let it cook up, almost 10 minutes. Make sure the onions are cooked all the way through. Make sure the hamburger meat's browned all the way through. Then we'll add it all back together with the season. Add some cheese at the end, stir it up. It's gonna be a quick and easy meal. Another one of those meals should take less than an hour if all goes well. So first thing I'm gonna do is get started here. Got my energy drink to get through. Start cutting everything up. Once we get everything cut up, pretty simple from that point. We'll jump over here to the stove, turn on the eye, start cooking potatoes first. So here we go. And as I mentioned, tomorrow we'll do a stuffed salmon. I stuff it with a cream cheese and spinach blend. I'll use the rest of these here. So this meal, since I use 2 pounds of hamburger meat, it calls for 4 pounds of potatoes. There are several options of potatoes you can use. We typically use these little red potatoes now. I don't even peel them. I just dice them up small. They taste good. We'll cut them up when we use them in pork roast. We use it when we do just about every meal I've used potatoes on so far. We use it for those. And like I said, we don't peel it. It is a very thin skin, so you won't even notice it in your food most of the time. This will be my last bag of this. So we'll be get some more of this in here soon. Hope everyone's having a good week, good day. I know it's most of the places are looking out for the ice storm or snowstorm if you're anywhere in the south or east. And you can see how thin these are. These are very thin, 1/4 inch maybe. That way they cook faster. And then it's not so much. If you put a whole potato in, of course it's going to take longer to cook. Don't seem to me to get all the flavor as well as the thin ones. Thin ones takes all the flavoring better once I mix it in with the hamburger meat and the season here at the end. And some of these gonna be probably less than 1/4 inch thick, and that's fine. We put no scale on anything. We're just kind of going with it. They'll have plenty of time for everything to cook through. Cut that one on a triangle, So I tried that new sauce on the smash burgers in the last video. Came out really well. So it'll probably be a repeat recipe. I guess that's a good indication when you don't have any leftovers or everything gets ate up and then the next day, is pretty decent. I guess that's a good gauge. And my son being a teenager now, he's he'll eat anything just about, but if he has the option to eat something else, that's a good indication if he likes it or not. If he asks for it again, that means it must have been pretty good for him. Like I said, we're getting here about 3-4 pounds. Once these are done, we'll butter up the skillet. We'll let it melt just a hair, and we'll throw these in. Keep an eye on it while we're stirring it. Once that's done, it recommends to take the potatoes off so we can cook the meat and the onions. Like I said, I'm just going to prep everything so it's done. I'll move all my prep work to the other side. One more to go. And then to go with this, I may hit it with greens, something like that. Something quick. Get some more vegetables, but we also have some French bread. We'll butter that up, of course. Use it almost like a little boat to shovel it into our faces with, pretty much. But that tastes good with meals like this, especially on cold days. You know, this little, where I'm at here in Georgia, we're just getting a rain, potential, you know, sleet, ice mixture. So good cold days, ain't much you're gonna do outside in weather like that anyways. So we'll make up something like this. Something hot, a good skillet. Soups tend to go good with this type weather, I guess. I know when it's summertime and it's warmer, most people like lighter meals. You'll probably see more what they call the Mediterranean diet, you know, fish, stuff of that nature. Fish and fowl, I guess, with vegetables more. I am going to do I got some pork meat I'll do to spaghetti, make it almost into like a mild, not really a real spicy, but a mild flavor. Almost like sausage type, and we'll mix it in with the spaghetti meat and all that. I've always used the pasta marinara sauce that you saw my pizza video the other day. That's what I use to modify to make pizza sauce, and so I've got a tomato sauce to home make it myself. So, and again, the carrots, nothing major. We're just kind of dicing them up into little round ones. And then I'll cook this in with the potatoes, because they're kind of tough. The carrot can take a minute to thaw them out a little bit, but yeah, I think it's the Rigoli brand, maybe. Ragu at times, but I guess it's like anything. Guess what you pay for, you know, that less ingredients, more natural taste on the, they do cost a little bit more at the store, of course. Now granted, this has only been, last couple years been to the point where I really been able to afford higher quality ingredients. And that's been nice. And that's another reason I like doing this, just show more affordable methods. I mean, our labor, we never want to say our labor is free, but it's something we don't have to pay for to cook with anyways. So most meals, you know, for a family of 3, we can get by with, I mean, you figure onions you can break down into probably 10 meals, so you're looking at, I don't even know, $1 an onion by the time if you buy a whole bag. Potatoes you get a couple meals out of. So let's say each time we use potatoes, let's say $3, so that's $4. Seasonings, by the time you average them out as many as you get, I mean, it's one of those, if you want to say $1 just for shits and gigs, you know, that'd be fine. And then you figure these carrots, another $2 a meal. Hamburger meat here, you can see it on there. I think it's maybe too low. I'm using $12 worth of hamburger, so we're gonna have $20 before we use the bread, so $25 today, and we're feeding 3 of us twice. So we're, you know, we got 2 meals out of this 25 bucks. And this is, you know, the hamburger meat is obviously high, but most of the meats you can probably figure the same. It's a good chance that you can eat them, you know, 30-40 bucks if you wanted to prep all 3 meals. We keep a lot of snacks on hand. Most of our breakfast just consists of a protein drink and a banana. You know, bananas are one of the things still nice and cheap. I mean, every time we get bananas, we get 6, 8 of them, and it's only not even $2. So, like I said, we eat bananas in the morning, little protein shake. We'll have one big meal, and then some kind of snack. So you can get by. Family of 3 can do fairly decent. Like I said, these meals we eat them twice. I'm only cooking 4 times a week, so you're looking at those 4 meals, and we'll just round it up to $30 a month, really high. And then you figure all the add-ons. I mean, it adds up. You're looking at $100-something a week, of course. Now the good thing is with this, it won't take much to make this for a larger meal. I mean, in fact, this meal, like I said, it feeds 3 of us twice. So if you're a family of, you know, 5, this meal will still feed everybody in the family. But you know, it's one of those things we don't think about. That's still looking at, just for a family of 3, you know, $800 to $1,000 a month. It's quite a bit for groceries. But heck, I can spend that in just 2 or 3 days eating out. I mean, you eat out every meal. One good meal like this we ate out would be $100 for 3 of us. So that's definitely a more affordable path. And like I said, there's even more ways you can get creative. You can buy bulk hamburger meat, so it's not the lean meat. You know, you get cheaper deals. Obviously, the bigger bags you can buy. I know we used to buy the big 10-pound bags of chicken, just, you know, debone them ourselves. We'll cook a bunch in the crock pot, debone it, throw it in our meals. So you can even save even more money. But yeah, you know, a family of 3 to 5, you know, $700-800 a month, which is a lot for groceries, don't get me wrong. But that's a week's worth if you eat out every day for that size family. So it's a big difference in the contribution and the money. All right, I got my onions up. My meat's already thawed out. I got all my seasonings here. I'm gonna carry them over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this skillet going, get the potatoes going first, and then we'll transfer stuff back and forth. In fact, I'm about to transfer you over here now. All right, so I got that printing. You know, it took me not even a minute. Just had to swap over to my AI app, you know, hit print, send it to my printer. Of course, anything wirelessly, if you've been off the Wi-Fi network to get back, it always has a new security certificate you gotta accept. So just a little stuff, but it's over printing. You can hear this frying up good. I know you're probably wondering why I don't just go ahead and cook the hamburger meat in the big pot. Well, I wondered that too. So according to AI, a lot of the flavor is getting built in here when I put the butter, the olive oil, and I'm cooking it all in, and I add my seasonings. So cooking the hamburger meat and onions inside this same pan blends all the flavors together well, and then we can transfer it all over the other pot just to make it a larger serving, or to hold the larger serving, I mean. So we've been going a couple minutes here on this. We'll get my recipe, double check it. Okay. That's a good thing I checked. It actually says cook for 12 to 15 minutes. It's the hamburger meat. It's only about 4 to 6 minutes, or rather roughly 8 minutes or something, until the hamburger's cooked through and the onions are soft. So we still got probably about 10 minutes on this.
Since I had the olive oil in here, we'll notice it'll start getting golden. And then there'll be, what AI said is fork tender, so I'll be able to stick a fork in it pretty easy. I know it's tender enough. So we will cook it all a little bit more at the end. With the hamburger meat, not much, but hamburger meat can burn quick. You know, it goes from done to overdone really quick if you leave it on too much. Unless you're cooking it in some kind of sauce or something like that. Otherwise you dry it out and it's not going to be too good that way. Every year with my students, especially my intro students, and a lot of students that, you know, you have them every year, year in, year out. There's only 2 professors and an adjunct at this university, so the program's small, but we're building it up. And it's funny, a lot of times they figure out stuff. Someone, I think only one of them knows I cook so far. But got a farm, got horses, got cows, you know, done physical labor, built houses, construction work, of course, garage doors. I still got a company doing that, but one of those things, I guess they just assume I've always been IT man or in the IT field, but that's not the case. I was only in the IT field for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. I don't know. My wife's gonna get me for saying that, 6, 7 too. But I was in the field less than 10 years. Started my own company, got my PhD, still have contact now. I say less than 10 years and working for someone else. We have our own consulting firm. We help set up nonprofits, do web design, you know, website security, maintenance, stuff like that. I try not to do that when I set up nonprofits. We have helped set up several websites. I tend not to like doing that. Of course, they've made everything a lot easier now to set up websites. They have website builders with built-in AI on them now. Everything's getting a lot simpler. You requiring less knowledge to do it. I say less knowledge. It's requiring more knowledge on how to use these AI programs. If you have knowledge of that, then it gives you a leg up on building websites. I mean, you can easier to sort through and read logs if you're running an IDS system. At the end of the day, you're looking through it. You know, you can have it flag certain discrepancies or certain things, you know, that people might be trying. We can use AI to automate a lot of our stuff, you know, monitor incoming traffic, which, you know, a lot of that's IDS systems. They monitor both ways. It depends if you own the rights, you have like an API key onto your server and you have some AI can help you set with, you know, monitor and check GPOs, user profiles, accounts, make sure passwords and all that is set to regulations. You can do a lot with AI. Not everyone's doing that, but it's getting where more and more things are being done. I guess the biggest thing is the college paid for a bot builder is what we call it. So we build our own little AI, little miniature version. So like my AI built, it's not connected to anything. I have to import my own data sets, databases, build it, the knowledge banks I need. So I made mine. One of our things we had is trouble with advising. You know, you had to go through manually, look at the transcripts of students. We kept a record of them. Well, I built a little AI bot. I can just plug in their transcript, compare it to what major and minor they're in. It'll compare courses taken. I put in upcoming spring schedule, or fall schedule, or summer schedule, and it'd build an entire yearly plan. It'd build a 4-year plan if they want for the students. So they know exactly when to take each class. So some classes are only offered, you know, certain times a year. And that's in a lot of places, you know, they teach certain type of classes one part of the year, another type the other. My wife built a bot that goes into full detail on different formulas and calculations and finance and how to use Excel and all that good stuff. So students can plug in their problem and they'd work it out step by step. You know, gives them tips, give them practice problems they want. That's where a lot of the future AI is going to be, is customizing, because everyone worries, you know, about privacy and information, and it depends. Like if you don't pay for AI, anything you put in there, it's going to be public knowledge. It can be used elsewhere. might become part of its data set, so you gotta be real careful with that. Now, if you just pay like an entry level AI, you're in the same boat. You just get better search results from the AI. Now, if you pay for the enterprise or top tier, it guarantees all data remains private, secure, and all that stuff. So it'd be the same as using, online OneDrive through Microsoft or something. It supposedly keeps everything secure. So all we can do is go on its word. But that's what most companies, they need that insurance. That yes, if you use this enterprise, you pay for it. It might be $500 a month or whatever, but it keeps all your data secure, so you can run, programs, projects in there, get recommendations on next steps, guides, tips, budget outlines. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff at that point. So yeah, I was really getting on a whole big business package to really help you with. Anyone that knows me and my family knows I like to talk, so this works out perfect. Here I am stirring potatoes for 12 minutes, talking to everyone here. Or maybe talking to myself. No one may never see this. I don't know. But either way, still talking anyway. But so that's a lot of AI use. And that's what I'm using here, cooking recipes, whatever. I do have an enterprise version of AI that, keeps data and stuff secure. I still don't put any kind of personal information from anything in there, either myself or, of course, nothing from the college. So it's mainly idea generation. I'll run my labs through it that I develop and see what steps it gives me, and try the steps, see if it's accurate or not, because I know students are going to do that. So when they reach out and like, hey, I'm having trouble, I can kind of pinpoint where the trouble is. Because what happens a lot of times with AI, it pulls its resources from every site. So not every site's legit. It can pull sites from Reddit, Yahoo, MSN. I mean, it pulls it from everywhere. It can pull it from Wikipedia. Not saying any of these sites are bad or their information is faulty. May not be always up to date or completely accurate on what you're doing. So you do have to pay attention to that with AI when you use it. So that's why I do my labs. When it runs it, I'll do the steps, like, okay, kind of missed 2 or 3 steps here. And a lot of students will never figure it out. But that's why I'm there to teach them, how to set up GPOs and user accounts on a server. How to secure a network, things you don't want running or active. You don't want remote desktop on your server. You don't need fax and printer services on your server a lot of times. A lot of that stuff you can turn off. But students don't really understand the how of it. So I'll run my lab through AI, see what it comes up with, run it myself, test it. And that way in class, when they start asking questions, got a pretty good idea where they got stuck. And I can walk them through the how and the why it does that. Another prime example is when you're inside a large network, they have a GPO, is what they call a group policy object. Just sets up how everything's run, security protocols, all that good stuff. Well, when you set that up, the computer itself no longer maintains security credentials for the users. They all come from the server you set up. Well, every time in a class when they try to change password length and complexity, where they will make what your password's going to be 12 characters, all that fun stuff, they do it through the computer settings, not through the server settings. And that gets them every time, but that's just one of the minute things you see. AI is going to go on the path of least resistance. You want to say what's most popular, most likely solution, most likely answer you're looking for. Your average user is not going to be, running something inside of a server. So that's why it'll give you how to go through your user settings on your computer to change it. But, all right, we're getting close here. Been a little over 10 minutes. Getting a lot of golden brown in here on these potatoes. They're looking good. Won't fall out when we fry it. Might have to turn it up a hair. I try to stick my fork in it. It just pushes it down. There's a little bit of resistance where it comes on. So as AI said, it should just stick right in the potato. That's not doing that yet. I'm going to turn up the heat a little. Another quick spray from my handy dandy olive oil sprayer there. I'm going to let that run for just a minute. And that's all we got on here. So when I get this done, I'm going to transfer it to my big pot. I'm going to go ahead and put the hamburger meat in here. My onions already cut up, put those in there. Put a little bit more of the olive oil to cook them in. Cook all that. Takes roughly, 8-10 minutes it says. We'll put in our seasoning. All we do is bring it all together and then put a cup of cheese on top or a little bit more. Sprinkle on top for a good layer. And I'll serve that with some French bread. Of course, my son just ate. Me and my wife had a real early lunch around probably 10ish, close to 11. So this may just sit here until the night. We'll heat it back up and eat it, but definitely don't want to come out here 9 o'clock at night the other day. If you watch my smash burgers, I was pretty tired. That was after being at the college all day, so I was pretty wore out. So I don't want to do that now. Feeling pretty good right now. I said I got my little energy drink. So I'll go ahead and cook it up now. It's ready. We can always reheat it, whatever. They'll last the next day or two anyhow. Probably have a bowl of it here in a couple hours, before it gets too late. Keep on stirring it here. My carrots are looking real good. They're soft. So that was the right idea to add it with the potatoes. Both of them tend to be, takes a little longer to cook them out, get them a little bit softer. Cutting them thinner also helps. That's also a big help to it. And as you saw, it's probably maybe a 1/4 inch was the most I had on there. If I go one of these, you see it went right through pretty easy. No crunch left in it. Now it was a little bit on the smaller side potato, so I probably want to cut maybe 1/8 of an inch instead of a 1/4. I'm gonna give them just another minute more. And we'll transfer this stuff, but it's looking really good. If you're watching this video, you're not from the South, yeah, we use potatoes and onions and almost everything. If you stick with me long enough, we'll probably do a potato cereal or something. I'm just messing with you. That's what I tell my students. Listen, I'm joking half the time and probably lying the other half, so don't listen to what I tell you. All right. Well, the potatoes looking pretty good here. I can just cut through them with my spatula too, so that helps. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a little bit in this pan. I'm gonna put this pan over here on like a little simmer. That way, as I'm cooking the hamburger meat, these little bit thicker ones can stay heated up. Finish cooking the rest of the way through, because I got another 8 or 10 minutes on the hamburger. I do like about this pan, it's got a little pour inside there. I don't know if you can see that way it's shaped. So transferring these things to another bowl or something is awesome. Alright, so let's get this hamburger meat opened. Now on this one it recommends, and that's what I went with, they had the 80-20. We typically buy leaner meat. Not always the case. A lot of times you catch these on sale and we'll buy them and freeze them. And they tend to last quite a long time in the freezer, matter of fact. We typically go through them. I keep everything rotated and cycled the best I can. Picked this out pretty early this morning. Around 7, 8 o'clock maybe. Maybe it's 9. I slept in this morning, I think. Yeah, maybe it's closer to 9 or 10 to pick it out. Here it is, it's been out, the hamburger meat's been out 4 or 5 hours. Each one of these were roughly a pound. Still have a little bit of frozen on the inside. I'll come apart inside the pan. Flip it once, now most of the rest of it's breaking apart, so I guess roughly 5-6 hours. A pound of hamburger meat to thaw out if you just have it room temperature. I'll ask AI next time I'm thinking about it. I will take the salmon out in the morning, or if I take it out tonight, I'll just put it in the fridge and take it out tomorrow. Because like I said, it is stuffed salmon, so I will be cutting it in half, open it up, make a cream cheese spinach blend, put it in the middle of it, close it back up, cook it. And then we'll do some kind of topping, breadcrumb, some kind of another, little crunch on top of it. For that, I will be doing a oven baked asparagus that we mix in a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of seasoning, and then we bake it, crisp it up. Actually makes it really nice on the asparagus. I know a lot of times, like the way I was growing up, you don't really buy a whole lot of fresh produce all the time, just because it can get really expensive, and you got to eat it pretty quick before it goes bad. So a lot of stuff's out of the can, and when you're growing up in a medium income family, but there's 6 kids and mom and dad, so there's 8 of us. Ain't a whole lot of buying everything fresh all the time. Fruit and vegetables, you have to tend to buy them out of the can. They store longer. You can have them in there. And anyone's ever had asparagus or something like that out of a can? They're very slimy and not good. To me, anyways. If you like that, more power to you. That's the kind of stuff you like. It probably ain't the channel for you. I'm just messing with you. No, it was definitely an acquired taste. My dad liked them for some reason, kind of like sardines and all that. I still can't stomach sardines. He's actually got my little nephew who's 11, 12-ish right now. Yeah, he's 12. He likes sardines out of the can. So he's been eating them with my dad ever since he was little. So he's just grown to like them with crackers. Started eating crackers. It's the craziest thing. It's funny what we acquire taste for and what we don't. But definitely not the slimy variety. It's not in my palate. Texture-based stuff like cottage cheese that's got the chunks in it. No, that's not for me. Now my son, he loves that stuff. Which my wife likes cottage cheese. And it's funny, we have pictures of them. Could have been a year and a half old. Sitting there watching, I think it's probably Barney at the time, with a tub of cottage cheese and a spoon. Just he's just going to town on it, but he has always liked it. It's always been his thing, but not mine. I think I mentioned in another video, he don't do chips and dip, he does chips and cottage cheese. That's his dip on top of chips, so yeah. I said, we all have different tastes and flavors. That's not for me. Alright, so this is going pretty quick. Like I said, we cook into all the meat. Now, I don't say, AI will tell you to drain if it wants you to drain the meat. It don't tell us to drain the meat on this one. So it's probably a pretty good assumption that's what's going to help give it almost a stew-like quality, where it's not going to be completely just dry potatoes, dry hamburger meat mixed together. So we're going to take the season, mix it all in with the grease and the juices. We're going to mix it in with all that, stir everything up, add our cheese to it. I think I mentioned this every show. This is not a health show. This is not a health show. I'm going to repeat that. It's more of a, let's see how good the recipes are generated with AI. So far, they're really well. Like I said, you can take items you have in your cupboard, take your main meat, a couple side items, and list a few seasonings, and AI will give you some pretty good recommendations on how to do it. I'm trying to go through and cook different type meals, a lot of different random stuff. just see how long it takes. You know, my goal is try to always be under an hour if we can, just to show that we can do it pretty quickly. I know we all have busy schedules. I mean, today's time, it's hard to survive on a one income household if you got kids and everything, and you got, you know, you and your wife, husband, whatever. It's hard to survive on one income. So a lot of families see both parents working, and then you're always in the situation, you know, you're always tired when you get home from work. Even if it's not physical labor, I mean, I get home from teaching and the mental load sometimes just as bad as working physical jobs. So this makes it quick and easy. All I gotta do is read instructions. I don't have to do a lot of processing, a lot of thinking. Let AI tell me. And so far, all the meals come out pretty dang good. The only thing that we didn't finish off, and probably kind of my fault, because I made like 3 meals within 2 days, was the Alfredo. Now we all ate the Alfredo 2 meals, but it was a huge plate. I probably made way too much. I probably could have fed 30 people off that bowl. I don't know if you saw the size of that bowl. It was probably a 10-quart container, and it filled it all the way up. So it was a lot of stir fry. Now I like the Alfredo sauce it made with it, but because I did add extra shrimp with the chicken, I doubled up the meat, added more penny pasta. I should have made a lot more Alfredo sauce, and I think that's probably part of what it was. But it did come out, like I said, me and my wife had a couple plates off of it, my son had 1, but we still ate quite a bit. And for the cost, if you know, pasta noodles, chicken is all real cheap. So it wasn't, and then the sauce I made myself, so just some heavy cream, flour, stuff like that. It wasn't that major, more heavy cream and cheese than anything. So it ain't like we didn't get our money's worth, since we both had 2 plates and then my son had a plate, so, but we didn't even eat half of it. So I will have to adjust that next time, do something different with it. And I think that's the only one. The lasagna, I purposely made a big meal because we froze our lasagna before and they come out really well. 3 or 4 weeks down the road, and move to lasagna. You can take the container out, let it thaw, throw it in the oven, heat it up, and it's great. And since we know that, I made a larger one, and we got 2 extra meals saved up. We got 5 servings off of it, and we froze the same amount twice again. So there's 15 servings in that lasagna. If you see these pans back here, it was almost that big. These are probably 9 by 13s. 9 by 16, but it's a thicker one, so they're probably 3 or 4 inch pans thick. And it came out really well. So that one's easy. Next time we want lasagna, we just pull it out of the freezer, thaw it out, throw it in one of these little bowl containers I have up here. That's about half the serving I saved. As you can see, that's 8 inches by roughly maybe 4 inches, about 4 inches deep. And then once it thaws, I can just throw that in the oven, give it a nice crisp the top of it, heat everything up good. Alright, so all my hamburger meat is cooked through. So what I'm going to do here, once everything's done, get another one, chopping up a lot of that meat. I know a lot of times it cooks through. Since I'm going to be cooking it back into the potatoes, not stir it. And just change it out. I said all the meat and onions are cooked here. The way it's just cooked there. You see how my potatoes come along. They've been sitting over chilling the whole time. That's one of the thicker ones. It was good. Okay. Let me see what I gotta do now. Because I don't know. Now we're going to do our garlic, onion powder, paprika, and then our minced garlic, salt and pepper to taste pretty much. If you know me, I don't add almost no salt. Now we'll do the pepper. I don't really measure it out. Most of these are 1 teaspoon now. The garlic, it's 1.5 of paprika. kind of developed a little bit of an eye for what a 1 teaspoon is versus. Now the tablespoons, yeah, I still measure those quite a bit, but that's a larger quantity. So when I asked for the cloves of this minced garlic, like I said, this keep in the refrigerator. I found 1 teaspoon is pretty much what they recommend for a clove. Another thing you'll notice in all the AI is, does it love garlic? So if you don't like garlic in your food, make sure you tell AI you don't like garlic, because it's gonna add garlic powder, minced garlic, everything. So we're gonna mix up these seasonings. It says stir in all the seasonings. Maybe just bring it all together, stir well, cook another 5 minutes till all the flavors blend. And that's a good thing I already got this one heated up. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up. My potatoes and all that. All this just get poured in. So it says stir until you can smell the flavor. And I guess that means now I can smell the seasonings coming up, the paprika, the garlic. So it's smelling really good. You can always get in the end, you taste it, you know, feel like something missing, you don't like it. Tell AI, hey, I need a sweeter profile to add to it here at the end. You know, I finished cooking, what can I do to maybe sweeten it up? What can I do to make it more like a stew? You know, skillet's just everything cooked together. I think of it, if you ever go eat at a Mexican restaurant, you get the fajitas, everything, you know, on that skillet. That's what we're doing here. Alright. So that eye's off, this one's on. The only downside to this big pot, and let me move it over here so you can see it. I'll keep this eye on for a minute. You can see my handles are metal, whereas all my pots have a handle to keep you from getting burnt. You can pick it up. Not on this one, it's metal all the way through. So, you know, some of these pots you'll see either the handle's separated or they got that little wire around it or something to keep the heat from transferring so bad. Like I said, this right here we'll take and have some French bread, dip it on there. Said cook another 5 minutes here. Got everything stirred in well. I'll let you look here, see what it's coming out to. It's all our potato, our meat together. I said, this is a skillet on a stew. If you're making hamburger stew, you know, I made that on previous. I've not done a video of it, but I have made it before, so I will go back and do a video. We all tend to like it very well. It came out nice. Good hamburger stew. More liquid in it. You know, you'll eat it in a bowl, but you can eat this very well in a bowl too. It's made just to eat right out of the skillet, especially when I put the cheese on it and get you some French bread to dip in it. So, let me do the old tasteroo here. Yep, not bad at all. And just make sure everyone's going to eat it. add cheese to it, right? That's all we gotta do. Take some of this with me since I'm going over by the seasoning cabinet. No. Almost got the main thing, cayenne. I said these handles do get hot. Be aware of that if you order this type bowl from the our place. Nice big bowl, nice to cook in, but handles get hot, so be warned. I got a little bit of leftover bag of cheese here. We're gonna add it. That's probably half a cupish. I'm actually gonna stir that half in with it. And then I'm gonna do like a cheesy layer on top. I'll probably just stir it in as big as this pot is. That way it's cheesed all the way through. I normally just get generic brands of cheese. This one did come from Publix, but our local grocery store in Ingalls, I buy most of the time generic unless the other one's on sale. Just because for the cost difference, I've not been able to notice anything. And part of that may be because, like I always say, my taste buds is not overly, I can taste every little nuance of seasoning or something like that. So don't take my word for it all the time. Like I said, I go off of, if there's no leftovers at the end, pretty good indication. While my son is getting where he'll eat everything, getting him to eat it for a second day in a row is the challenge. So if he eats it a second day in a row, you know, there's a good chance it's probably good. That was pretty good call with the cheese. I can taste that one. I laughed when a couple years ago, me and my wife started the Weight Watchers diet, and I talked to my brother-in-law, and I told him, I said, big thing we cut out cheese because you can't taste it anyways. So he gives me a hard time about that to this day. On this one, I'll have to admit to him, I can taste cheese on that one. Let's see. One more taste test. Eyes off. Like I said, some good French bread. A little bit of butter on the French bread. I'm gonna go to my official taste tester. Be right back. Okay, wife gave me the approval, so of course, you know, I guess she has to like what I cook, right? Not too bad. A little bit hotter than I anticipated. I had to cool it off there. All right, everyone. Another episode done. You know, we had 36 minutes on this restart. Probably had 15, not even 20 minutes on the other one. So under an hour, got the whole thing done. Like I said, French bread already buy it pre-cut. We can slap some butter on it, use it to shovel it, you know, feed it, fill us up. As always, appreciate you watching.
stay tuned for the next one.